Yeah, my name is Philip, and as you guys can probably hear, I'm not South African. I'm, in fact, very German, and I have a tiny little accent, which some of you might be able to hear, so I try to speak as clear as possible. So I have the privilege today to share my story, and I don't want to focus too much on the bad stuff, rather on the journey that I took, because today is a day of celebration, yet some things can't be ignored. So here we go. My name is Philip, and I'm a sex addict. So what does that mean? I don't want to get in too much detail because I understand I don't want to make anyone feel uncomfortable or insulted, but in my case I developed a very unhealthy, well, there's no reason to sugarcoat it, a very sick attitude towards porn, sex and masturbation and stuff like that. It was bad, it was really bad, it was actually so bad that I was about to lose everything, my marriage, my identity, my values, my job, my permit. And after a 5-year paperwork battle with Home Affairs, you really want to hold on to that permit. So pretty much everything I have achieved so far in life. I felt like being on a roller coaster, going up and down, blindfolded, and I was too stubborn and too ignorant to open my eyes. So on the beginning of July, where I hit rock bottom and I was completely out of lies, and I was an awesome liar. I fooled everyone, everyone except God. He made it very clear to me that I reached the end now of the way I behaved. In that moment when I was sitting on the couch, I was not able to come up with one more single lie. So I had to make a decision. I either continue the way I live my life, or I changed my mindset drastically. Yes, I could have gone back to Germany, but let's face it, I would have continued exactly the way I lived there until I hit rock bottom again. And just let me add that quickly, Germany or Western Europe is not that amazing place you guys might think. We have exactly the same problems and issues. Right now we can't even form a government because people can't get over their own egos. You guys have at least a government, a special one, but at least you have one. So, as I said, after that night, I decided to go for myself. I'm going to church because I had nothing and everything to lose at the same time. It's a very weird place to be in. It was the 9th of July, and I was sitting over there. And I had no expectations. Pastor Daniel was preaching, and it was about God not being an undermined God, and we are here to serve Him and not the other way around. It was good. But nothing really that spoke to me or that made me go wow until the last 7-8 minutes of the service. Then I shared something really personal and asked him if I mention it again. He struggled, he preached about how he struggled in his marriage. So listen to this is important. So here am I sitting in my first church service ever, not knowing if I'm still married tomorrow or on my plane back to Germany. And the pastor is preaching how he struggled in his marriage and how he went through it with the help of God. That was my aha moment. That was mind-blowing. I mean, that was like God screaming in my face, "Open your damn eyes, Philip. You have been blind long enough." You can be as stubborn as I was, and you can ignore all the signs God shows you during the course of your life. But at some point, you have to admit to yourself, okay, this is more than just a coincidence. Yeah? And that really changed my entire mindset, or it started to change my entire mindset, and I agreed to give God a chance. After service, I was waiting outside. Someone was speaking to Daniel, and I'm still amazed by the fact that no one is smoking when they're having coffee. And I was just waiting for my wife, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Marita and Pastor Barbie and Pastor Pedro joined me, and we had a quick chat. I didn't even know who they are at this point. So when my wife saw that, and I can't only imagine what she was thinking when she saw me surrounded by church leaders. But looking back now, that was for her like a sign from God that that this might work out. Yeah. So after that, I went home. And I checked out the webpage, and I discovered the podcasts, and I listened to all of them. I went through 3 years of preaching within 7 days. You can ask my wife. All I did from dusk till dawn, wherever I was, at work, at gym, at home, I was listening to the podcast, some of them even more than once. I even managed to annoy my wife with that. Who was still in disbelief about what was going on. I was kind of thinking, even up until she kind of is amazed, not disbelief. That's the word. So I look forward to going back to church and the amazing worship team led by Matthew, which I still want to go arm wrestle with. Sing Hosanna, and in that song it goes, heal my heart and make it clean, open up my eyes to the things unseen, show me how to love like you have loved me. And that moved me, that spoke to me immediately, and obviously over time I added more songs to my worship playlist, but Hosanna will always be my song. And it was also the service where I filled in the Why Hello card for the first time, which I can only encourage you guys to really do that, because the church and God will sort you out and help you. No, this is really what I love about this church. They don't want you to be perfect, they don't want you to be holy. Eventually it's awesome if they can see a change in you, but they accept you when you're broken. They accept you when you are, no matter what actually, and that is amazing. So, thank you. So I kept on going back to church, and I also started to join the addict program We Care. It's every Thursday. It's an awesome program for addicts. And I can only recommend, if you guys struggle with anything, join us every Thursday, 7 till 9. You meet amazing people. It's awesome, motivating and encouraging to hear how God is changing and affecting other people's lives. They have free cookies and cupcakes. So be there, please. So going forward, on one particular evening service, it was actually the last baptism service. I went alone because someone was working, so I went to church alone. That never happened, ever. It was the first time where I raised my hand by the end of the service, where they ask you who struggles with life and who wants to accept Jesus. And as Daniel always said, it's the best decision you can ever make. Yeah? Amen to that. Eh? Yeah. And the week after, I felt really good about it, and the week after, Leanne was preaching, and I raised my hand again. And the week after that, Pastor Pedro was preaching, and I raised my hand again. And after that, Danielle was preaching, and I raised my hand again. And I just wanted them all to see, because it was important to me. Yeah? So, during all this time, I went to Growth Track. It's a 4-week program, which I also can only recommend, where I got to know God, and I found my freedom, and I discovered my purpose, and I wanted to start making a difference and starting to serve. I can only recommend for you guys to go there. What I found really comforting was that you get a chance to speak to the church leaders a little bit more in private, because there are not so many people, which is quite cool. And so shortly after that, I started serving at the Women Conference, which was awesome, and then shortly I served coffee, which was great. 2 days ago, we cooked pasta at work for the Elevate year-end function, which is, I don't know, it's just an amazing feeling to serve. It's difficult to explain. And now, after that, I finished my foundation course, which is also a 4-week program where you go through the basics of faith, and now I'm ready for a life group, apparently. Yeah, now I'm standing here getting baptized. I'm If I look back 1 year ago when I made a decision to ignore my problems and run away, and God just took my horrific decision and turned it into something so amazing and so beautiful in a way only God can do, and I can't explain that with human words. It is just so mind-blowing, and I'm so positive about life. Life has never been better. My marriage is awesome, work is awesome. The guys I meet here at church are amazing, and that is actually my story, and all I have left to say is thank you, church, thank you to everyone who prayed for me, thank you, Jesus, and Simone, I love you.